Okay, I'm filming a quick video about how to use your cell phone to do a virtual nosework class, or just generally to film your searches for training purposes. The things that you're going to need for a virtual class are a stable connection. Wherever you go to train for the class, you need to make sure that your phone works. And if you're not sure, you need to go practice this. Get on Zoom or whatever app you use with a friend and just talk to them for a while. Turn on your camera, ask them to watch you, make sure the connection's okay, or record it and do whatever you need to do to make sure that the connection's good before class, because it's really disappointing when you get to a cool location and the internet's too bad for you to hear instruction or to receive whatever that is. It's going to be frustrating. So a cell phone, wireless earbuds so that you can hear. If your phone's over there and you're working on the other side of this pavilion and I'm shouting, no, too early, too late, you can't hear if it's way over here. The earbuds in your ear are really important. They're critical so that you can hear instructions, and also you can talk to your instructor and ask questions. Am I doing the right thing? Did I set up the right thing? You need to be able to hear all of that. Very, very useful. You can use either a tripod or you can just use your cell phone on the ground. Sometimes the cell phone on the ground is the best thing, which I'll show you how to do in a second. There are lots of awesome cell phone tripod mounts now. This is a magnetic one that works with most phones these days. And it comes with a little adhesive magnet you can stick to your phone case if your phone doesn't have a magnet. And then you can just easily stick your phone on a tripod like this, and it will film exactly where you want it to film. I'm going to do both so you get to see both examples. Before I put the phone down, it can be useful to use some cones, soccer dots, or flags to mark the area you want to use. So I'm just going to mark an arbitrary area. You need to mark a few things. You need to mark the left boundary of the frame of the camera, the right boundary of the frame of the camera, and the closest boundary of the frame of the camera. The camera can see far. That's not so bad of an issue. What happens is if you get too close to the camera, then we lose track of the dog who's low to the ground. We lose track of the dog because they're underneath the camera. And so you don't want to set a hide in that area. So just to give you an example, I'm going to do an arbitrary search area. Let's imagine that I wanted my phone to capture everything at the edge of the pavilion. I'm going to use a red dot there to mark one edge. Let's say I just want this picnic bench. So I'm going to put a cone here to mark an edge, and I'm going to put a cone here to mark an edge. Okay? So I just need 3 cones. You can use more if you need. I'm just going to use 3. And then what I'm going to do is, with my phone's camera on, is I'm going to back up and position it so that I can see all 3 cones. If I can see all 3 cones, then I can see my whole search area. You can then remove the cones or leave them down for reference. Just a training tip right here. Keep in mind that doesn't mean you shouldn't allow the dog to leave outside of this area. Just because you're not being filmed or just because we can't see you doesn't mean there aren't reasons to let the dog go farther or accidentally teach them that they're not allowed to go somewhere. We want to avoid that. So this is just for you to reference what the camera is able to see. So I know that if I set a hide on this bench now, that hide is going to see everything. In fact, let me go ahead and record a little bit of this vantage point so that you can see exactly what it looks like when I actually do a class here. So I'm going to go ahead and walk out here, and I'm actually going to just kind of move around the space so you can just see what it would look like for someone to be moving around this space. Okay, now, let's say we don't have a tripod. We don't want a tripod. There might be reasons. Maybe it's really windy and I'm worried the tripod's going to tip over. We can also put our phone just on the ground. For this, I'm going to use, you can use either camera, but I'm going to use the rear-facing camera, the one you would use to make a selfie. And I'll find something, a wall. This works really well inside of a house. I'll actually use this post here. I'm just going to put it on the ground right here. This is often a great vantage point. The dog's on the ground, so being low to the ground is okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit record so you can get a sense of what all I can see. It's not great for filming that one bench. I'm kind of limited. I have to be out here. But this is going to be a decent vantage point, especially if you're in a house. If you're in a house and you put a tripod up, you've just lost 2 feet or so of space behind the camera. But putting it on a wall, low to the ground, or a little bit like on a chair, saves a lot of that space. The ground tends to be better than putting it on a chair though. Putting it on a chair tends to, the chair tends to get in the way of the frame. I highly recommend a tripod that you can take out with you, but this should give you a good idea of what you would want to set up if you were attending a virtual class, whether at home or at a park.